what makes you, want to start Carl, and what was kind of the, hey, like I want to do my own thing. Maybe walk me through that thought process.
Well, it started a couple of companies that had to do with marketing automation and a few of those things. But what really I knew there was a big one coming when I saw a change in the ability for people to store data. There was a problem with the amount of data that I could use to create the models and the programs that I was coming up with. I was limited to maybe about 5 to 10% of the data that was actually collected. And the reason for that is a lot of the information, there was so much information coming in from so many different systems at that point. It was impossible to aggregate all that information into one, what we called them back then was data warehouse, and then run the analysis on all this data and try and make the calculations. So really, I was working with a tiny fraction of the data to try and come up with the best possible models for revenue. The big change here is a sort of a group of platforms that are called NoSQL, and what they are what it means is not only SQL, and what it allows you to do is basically store massive amounts of data, and the data is unencumbered by lots of the different problems, or not problems, but restrictions that old data storage means had, and because of this, it was a perfect tool for analyzing massive amounts of data, and I saw this as a massive opportunity. So if I go back to my example of only being able to access 5 or 10% of the company's data, today I could put into place a data lake, not a data warehouse anymore, but now a data lake, and then run real-time advanced analytics, including things like machine learning or AI, on all this data, and then come up with my models that way. Extraordinarily powerful. It's a quantum leap forward in terms of analytics, and this coincides with the rise of this position called the data science person within companies. That now it's pretty much ubiquitous, but it's still a relatively new area that people are getting into, and that new area is really heavily reliant upon this new technology. So this is really the catalyst that started the company.
Yeah, well, hey, like you're extremely tech savvy, clearly, and I say I'm tech savvy. So, everyone says, the importance of data. So maybe walk us through, so what's your day to day at Carl now? So you start this company, data is obviously, what you care about the most, and walk me through what your day to day tasks are, and we can even hop into, kind of what Carl is, and go from there.
Sure. Well, I think most people wouldn't argue about the fact that we're turning into a data economy, and that's almost becoming a cliche now. So the heads of major organizations, including credit card companies, now say that they're data companies. They're not necessarily credit card companies, and so the acquisition of data and the use of that data has become really a pillar of strength for many, if not most, very large companies. And I think, given the current times that we're in, that's only going to accelerate dramatically, I think, over the next little while. We're going to see people that don't embrace this new technology, using data in order to understand things a little bit better, to make more intelligent decisions, sort of fall by the wayside. And people that embrace it and look at it from a different angle, in that the data is the most important thing, not necessarily at a lot of times the product or the hardware to collect the data, but the data itself is the most important thing. Making that change, that move to look at your product, services, marketing, what you offer in that respect, it's a real shift in terms of understanding and how you should approach your marketing, your sales, your product development, pretty much every aspect of your company.
Obviously, the importance in using data to really improve companies has been, I guess, the push for a lot of companies. You know, even Visa and Mastercard, like you said. I mean, they're buying, you know, companies that really just have extreme amounts of data. You saw the big push into buying, you know, credit companies, you know, Credit Karma, you know, Plaid, and some other ones. They've been looking at. But I guess let's go into, you know, really. So tell me, you know, what Carl is, and maybe, you know, a couple sentences. How would you explain it to people?
Well, behind everything we do is a platform that we've built, and that platform, as I've alluded to, is basically built upon this new technology, this new storage and analytics technology. From there, we have SaaS-based applications that are dedicated to particular industries. So wastewater and stormwater is a big one for us. We work with lots of cities throughout North America and regional governments to help them monitor their infrastructure and systems with water. But that we don't really stop there. I guess the best way to think about us is we're all about time series data. So we're kind of like think of us as the Google of time series data, perhaps. We use a huge system to collect all this information. We have services that offer pretty much an end-to-end solution, from the collection of the information to the transfer of the information through telemetry into our systems to the actual application that shows you, say, the machine learning model based on that information. What this does is it gives people an incredibly holistic view of everything that's going on within their systems. So whether that's water flowing through a pipe, or that's the air quality in a mine, or the prediction of an event that may have an adverse impact on an oil pipeline, for instance. Those are the types of things that our time series platform can really get into and provide a lot of detail and information. And of course, what used to take days, weeks, months to produce now can be programmed to run dynamically in real time. So you're getting this information, the information is being processed on the fly, and you're getting alarms and real-time updates on exactly what's happening. So it's a pretty exciting time, I think, if you like that kind of thing.
Do you want to give an example of it, you know, by chance? Like, obviously, sounds crazy. You talk about working with, you know, cities and local governments, you know, around Canada. Do you want to touch on, you know, maybe an example of, you know, where your solutions are used?
In terms of predictive analytics, which I like, because it's a good one and it's going in the direction that we like. We have a tool in several mine sites in British Columbia, for instance, that predicts when there's going to be a potential problem, environmental event that may cause a problem with their tailings ponds dams. And what happens is we collect data from sensor information, from weather stations, from all sorts of equipment, and it ranges from soil, the water content in soil, to snowpack, and a whole bunch of different things. And then we look at historical data to train the algorithm, and then we've created a part of a tool within our system that gives these mine site operators up to 7-day advance warning of if there's an event coming that should make them actually think about shoring up the tailings ponds, or making sure that they're prepared for this particular event.